Rome, summer 100 BC. The southern borderlands of eastern Rome. Decimus Aemilius Lepidus has been given the premature command over the borderlands. All remaining troops are to gather in Carcathiocerta. Decimus is far away from Rome. His orders are to capture the fortress of Arbela. His younger brother, Tiberius Aemilius Lepidus, has also been stationed at the border. Now, they form the Lepidus Legion. Tiberius bravely defeated the first enemy commander and advanced towards the fortress. The siege of Arbela is in full swing. Another Persian general, Elinos Didymachos, is getting involved in the fray. He intends to halt the Roman advance. Tiberius and Decimus outnumber the enemy forces, but Tiberius's cohorts have been heavily depleted from the previous battle. Decimus arrives later and can only intervene in the fighting belatedly. The exact troop strength of the enemy general is unknown. Tiberius and Decimus Lepidus are preparing for the next battle. Welcome to Rome, Total War.
Feinde sind bereit. Wäre unhöflich, sie warten zu lassen. Servieren wir ihnen guten römischen Stahl.
Tiberius leads heavy elite infantry, including Samnites and Pedides Extraordinarii, Italian allies. The Samnites hail from the highlands of the Apennines in central and southern Italy. They have a military tradition as old as Rome itself. They were an expansionist people until they were forcibly subjugated, the last time being in the 290s BC. They have a fine tradition of fast heavy infantry, which differs greatly from the Romans and their southern Italian neighbors. Their infantry carries slightly lighter javelins, and consequently more of them, and is armed with the Greek kopis, a powerful slashing sword that can be used effectively against armor, similar to the Iberian falcata. These Samnites are well armored with bronze breastplates, helmets, greaves, and a round argive shield. Though not as disciplined as the Roman infantry, they are highly trained and compensate for their lack of discipline with their fighting style and their fierce hatred for their Roman enemy. Some Samnite tribes have turned away from their brethren in Samnium and now work for the Romans. Others eagerly await the day when an enemy of Rome comes to Italy so that they can rise up against their hated foes. Historically, the Samnites were one of the most rebellious peoples of Italy and regularly aligned themselves with Rome's enemies. They fought alongside Pyrrhus in the 290s BC, rose up in rebellion during the First Punic War, and fought alongside Hannibal in the Second Punic War. They rose up one last time during the Italian Social War and were assimilated into the Roman state through the granting of Roman citizenship. Even into the Middle Kingdom, they still fought with their characteristic bronze belts, and even then, legions from Samnium still carried the national symbol of their former land on their shields. Tiberius sees his opportunity in the terrain and orders his troops to march at full speed. Half of the legion sprints forward in rapid pace. The goal is a mountainous hilly landscape, with the enemy army surrounded by both armies of the legion. The blue infantrymen, the Pedides Extraordinarii, are elite heavy infantry from Italian allies. In a consular army, the best fifth of the Socii infantry and a third of their cavalry are selected as Extraordinarii, a special unit under the direct control of the consul, available for decisive maneuvers. On the march, they serve as the vanguard or rear guard, defending the army against possible attacks. The Samnites, in particular, are famous for their heavy infantry, and many of them are selected as Pedides Extraordinarii. They fight similarly to the regular Roman legionaries with javelins and swords, but alongside their native traditions, the soldiers' equipment is more influenced by Greek fashion. They wear bronze muscle cuirasses, helmets, oblong-like shields, multiple light javelins, and a kopis sword. Tiberius rides with his cavalry wildly through enemy ranks, cutting his way to the enemy general. His legionaries try to follow him. He dances with the enemy general, horses circling each other, everything spinning like a carousel. And the battle unfolds on two fronts. The allied Roman troops under Decimus Lepidus also enter the battlefield. Historically, Italy was inhabited by many formidable peoples who could field their own powerful heavy infantry that was on par with contemporary legions. After being subdued by Rome, they became Socii, the Italian allies of the Romans, and were required to provide troops for their wars. The most respected infantry was that of the Samnites, proud warriors with strong military traditions that had significantly influenced the development of Roman manipular warfare in the 3rd century BC. They were a group of tribes inhabiting Samnium, a mountainous region in the southern part of the Apennines in central Italy. for a long time, they could successfully compete with Roman hegemony over central Italy. The Romans had to wage 3 fluctuating wars against them between 343 BC and 290 BC until Samnium eventually lost its independence. However, their enmity towards the Romans did not disappear. The Samnites rebelled on many occasions or fought alongside Rome's enemies until they were defeated in the final war, the Social War. After suffering heavy losses, the survivors were granted Roman citizenship and assimilated into the Roman state. When a Roman army was raised, the Socii were instructed to also send troops to join the Roman forces at a designated location. Typically, their infantry matched that of the Romans, while their cavalry was 3 times as numerous. In a standard consular 2-legion army, the remaining troops, excluding the extraordinarii, were divided into 2 equally sized units. They were referred to as ala sinistra and ala dextra, left and right wing, as they were positioned on the flanks of the similarly sized legions. After the Social War, their characteristic units disappeared permanently as most people in Italy received full citizenship and were now recruited directly into the legions. In a consular army, the best fifth of the infantry from the Socii were selected to serve as extraordinarii, a special unit under the direct control of the consul, available for decisive maneuvers. On the march, they formed the vanguard or rear guard and defended the army against possible attacks. These men not only protected their general, but also enhanced the dignity of his office. They fought similarly to the ordinary Roman legionaries with javelins and swords, but the extraordinarii carried the best possible equipment. Historically, the Roman military system encouraged men to face danger. After a battle, outstanding men were honored by the commander in front of all assembled troops, and their conspicuous bravery and commendable behavior in previous campaigns were praised. Rewards were then distributed, a spear for wounding an enemy and a cup or horse deer for killing and plundering an enemy. However, these awards were only given to men who engaged in individual combat, skirmishes, or irregular encounters. In other words, to men who voluntarily and consciously put themselves in danger. Similarly, scaling the wall during an assault or rescuing a comrade was rewarded with a golden crown. All these incentives promoted ambition and competition within the army, but they also bestowed a great deal of prestige at home because only the recipients were allowed to wear them during religious processions. In daily life, their homes were adorned with such trophies, considered as evidence of the owner's bravery. The extraordinarii were the result of such practices and rightfully the best troops in the Republican Roman armies. Tiberius Lepidus has advanced to the enemy general under adverse conditions, fighting at the forefront. Forest trees surround Tiberius. Enemy axe fighters ambush his equites from behind. Roman legionaries try to break through to their general. The enemy general remains defiant, fighting against the entire Roman cavalry. It is a battle among cavalrymen. The enemy general, Decimus, is surrounded by Roman cavalry. Tiberius arrives to deliver the final blow to Decimus, but he ducks and rides away. He is separated from his remaining cataphract riders. Both generals separate in 2 directions and ride north with their cavalry. Then both turn and ride towards each other at a wild gallop. The Roman cavalry is far too numerous. The remaining elite guard of cataphracts can do nothing against the onslaught. One by one, they fall to the ground. Decimus flees. He runs, but the Roman cavalry overwhelms him as well. Hail Rome! Hail Caesar! With the fall of the enemy general, this battle also comes to an end, with heavy losses. The Lepidus Legion marches forward. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Over and out.